Hey, it's me, AP, aka Mr. Movie Cheer, and welcome back to another episode. And on this episode, I will be giving you my 6-month verdict on the purchase of my 4K LG OLED TV. So let's get into it. Yeah, so 6 months have passed now, and I bought a TV, a new TV for myself, for my movie room in here. And so what TV am I rocking currently, and why did I get it? So I've currently got an LG 42-inch OLED C4 smart TV, 4K. It's first time of a 4K TV purchase. Why did I get this? Basically, I saved up for it for a while. It was something I really wanted to get in the movie room, have a dedicated space, a really decent TV, and somewhere where I could, basically I got it because I wanted a space where I can, come to, chill out, and watch my movies and watch it in the best quality possible. And I'd heard about OLED TVs for a while from different YouTubers. These look like the best possible option. I thought, you know what, I'm going to save up, I'm going to get the best TV I can possibly get. Obviously, get a TV that is a suitable size for this room because it's only a very small room as well. And that's why I decided to go for this. It was a case of looking at reviews online, looking at different YouTubers, what sort of TVs they would recommend, and putting all that together, and I come to the verdict that this TV, the LG 4K OLED C4, was the best option for me. So what was my initial verdict on this TV when I first got it? What I will say, first of all, the picture quality was just unreal. Just first of all, I put it on, and I think first thing I put on was some wrestling. But when on YouTube, put wrestling on. But I think when I noticed straight away the quality, the clarity of the colour was unreal, and just the sharpness of it looked unreal as well compared to, previously I've got a HD TV, it's not 4K, it's not an OLED, nothing like that. So I went from that to this, and I still have that other TV as well, still a great TV. But yeah, I think it was the colour really stood out, especially with watching movies, put on a Blu-ray, and putting on John Carter, and put that movie on, and it was just like, whoa. And this is a Blu-ray, the colours look amazing, the clarity of it just looked unreal as well. So that was the first thing that really, first impressions of it. It was like that the colours are amazing, and that's, a lot of people say with the OLED TVs, the colour is really superb. So that really stood out to me. What I will say, the initial verdict as well on the sound of it is, the sound is okay. I'm not gonna lie and say it's amazing 10 out of 10 sound. And what I would say, don't expect a cinema quality sound. It's like a Dolby Vision TV, Dolby Atmos TV. So it has Dolby Atmos included, but it's not a Dolby Atmos cinema system setup. So I think you've got to have your expectations, don't have them too high for it. I will say though, I've had no trouble listening along to movies, and I found it has been probably a step up from other TVs I got sound-wise, but also I think, deep down I probably was maybe expecting something a bit better, but maybe that's just my expectations were a bit higher for the sound quality. But I think further down the line, I will definitely, get a sound bar. That's the idea. That's the plan of action further down the line, is get a sound bar. Maybe a full-on Dolby Atmos setup in this particular room might be a bit of a push, just with size-wise in this room, but definitely a sound bar of some type, just to kind of increase the quality of that sound further down the line. But like I said, it's not an awful sound coming out of this TV, but that was just my initial impressions of it, watching a couple of movies. I thought, you know what, it's not a cinema-like sound, and nor should you expect that from a TV. If you want a cinema-like sound, you need a cinema-like setup, a sound system that is obviously appropriate to get that quality of sound. So they were my initial, initial thoughts on this TV. So what content have I been watching on the LG OLED? Man, I've been watching a mix of things. Really has been a mix. And for me, this coincides with me starting to collect 4Ks and Blu-rays 6 months ago as well. I was always DVDs, so it was really, starting to buy Blu-rays, starting to buy DVD, starting to buy 4Ks as well. Still buy DVDs, still watch them. I stream as well. So, what have I been watching? I've been watching 4Ks, 4K movies. I will say I don't have a massive selection. I have a small collection of 4Ks, which are growing gradually, but I don't intend to be buying 4K after the 4K. So I've got a couple of 4Ks which I've been watching. Again, a few Blu-rays as well. So I've been throwing a few Blu-rays on, getting a few of those, a few Blu-ray movies. I've been streaming stuff, watching. So for me, for streaming, it's Netflix generally, sometimes Prime. But yeah, for me, I watch like the wrestling on here. So I'm big into WWE. So for me, I watch regular wrestling shows in here, which is great for the pay-per-views and stuff like that. So I've been streaming that. So different type of content from movies, and the occasional bit of football as well. I've been watching in here, not full on, because it kind of came like I still watch a lot of the football in there, but occasionally I watch the odd game in here, and it looks good. It does look good. I wouldn't say it's for me. I didn't notice a massive difference with the football. Maybe I need to watch more of it, to be honest. The wrestling though was is the clarity again, the color. It felt like you kind of literally sitting looking at the ring. It's unreal, the wrestling there. It was awesome. But Blu-rays, I think Blu-rays really stand out. They look amazing on this TV. Use a Sony 4K player, just to clarify. I'll put the link in the bio description as well, what I'm using. But yeah, I use a Sony 4K player with the LG OLED. The Blu-rays stand out as incredible. And if I'm being honest, sometimes with the 4Ks and Blu-rays, I'm going to be completely honest, I do struggle to tell the difference in quality, and maybe that will come with time, where when I've watched more Blu-rays and 4Ks, I'll be able to say comfortably this is a 4K, that's a Blu-ray. At the moment though, I'd be lying if I said I could tell the difference maybe it depends on what you're watching, but I don't know if you're the same, but I certainly, my eyes cannot tell the difference with some of them. It really is hard to tell. The stream, like I said, wrestling shows and TV shows, movies. Again, that's not been 4K content per se, that's always been HD, but it's always looked decent. I've really enjoyed it. I imagine if you're streaming at 4K, that's going to be, again, it's another level up in quality if you're really noticing them differences, but HD for me is pretty awesome, if I'm being honest. DVDs, I've been watching DVDs, and I before getting a 4K TV, this is one of the things, because I've got a large DVD collection behind me in the cabinet. A lot of people were saying comments, if you get a 4K TV, your DVDs will look awful on them. And that was a bit of a reluctance from me then to be like, oh, should I actually get a 4K TV? Are my DVDs going to look awful? Some DVDs, I'll be honest with you, they are hard to watch, because the quality of them is a lot more fuzzy. It's hard, but they're not unwatchable. What I will say is some DVDs have looked better than others as well. I watched the Dirty Harry collection on DVD. They look really good. Not quite, I wouldn't say full-on Blu-ray quality throughout, but there's certain scenes that look better than others with the DVD. So I think it varies, but that's the kind of content I've been watching over the past 6 months, really. There's nothing really else otherwise content-wise. That's been the majority of what I've been watching with this TV, and overall I've enjoyed the viewing experience with it. So, 6 months on, was it worth it? Was it worth the purchase of the 4K OLED TV? Overall, I would say yes. I've enjoyed it. For me, the goal at the end of the start of it was create a movie room that was somewhere I can come to, chill out, watch my movies, chill out. It's my space, and it is incredible. I love watching movies in here. I think the quality it's went up levels for me for movie watching, and that's what I wanted. That was the whole point of buying this TV, because I wanted a decent TV where I could get a better viewing experience of those movies that I enjoy. I wanted to pose a question to myself: would a normal 4K TV would have been enough over instead of a 4K OLED? Save myself a couple £100. You know what? I think, if I'm being honest, I want to be honest on this video. I think if I got a 4K OLED, a 4K standard TV, I probably would have still been really impressed. I think for me, the OLED is just, like I said, I've been looking online and looking at the different community videos within the community. A lot of people were mentioning these OLEDs, and I thought, I don't have many vices. I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't do drugs, nothing like that. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to treat myself and get something I enjoy and get pleasure from. This is, like I said, I enjoy watching movies, so I thought, you know what, I'm going to spend a little bit on myself. It's something I saved up for a couple of years for as well. It wasn't like I was going out buying a TV, on the drop of the hat. It was something I'd saved up for and something I was looking forward to buying, so I had it planned for a while. What I will say is that the one caveat to buying this TV is there's one caveat is like basically within less than 6 months it's went down in price a couple £100. I personally got a good deal on it through the works I was at the time, so through the business I got like a bit of a discount on some of the stuff. But basically it has went down a couple £100, and it's one of those, isn't it? It's technology will always do that. It's you buy something one day, it's like cars, and they depreciate so quickly. And with this, again, it went down in price, and the same thing will happen with the next model that comes out. 6 months later when they're selling off the old lines, and this is what happened. They were basically reducing it down to a couple £100 below the price that I bought it for 3 or 4 months earlier. It's just the way it goes. I think you just got to take the rough with the what's the saying there? I can't even think of the right saying. The rough with the smooth, is it maybe, or something like that? The rough with the tumble? I don't know. It's something like that. There's a saying there. There's some sort of analogy. I can't get to it, but basically, I think you've got to just expect that's going to happen. That's what I'm trying to get to. But overall, there's no true negatives. Like I said, I could mention the sound. But there's no major negatives. Nothing major stands out to me with this TV. So overall, for me, was it worth it after 6 months on of buying this TV? And for me, it would be a yes. It would be a yes because I enjoy it. I think if you can say you enjoy it, you get pleasure from it. You think, could have waited a bit longer and got it cheaper, sure. But that's what happens with technology. It's the way it goes sometimes, and I still enjoy it. Even though I know I could have saved a bit of money, I still get a lot of pleasure from it. I'm really happy with the purchase overall. So I just want to do a bit of a roundup of this topic for this episode. Like I said, I would definitely buy one of these TVs. If it was the same thing, if I went back 6 months, would I buy it again? Certainly would. I think as well, this is kind of throws out to yourself. If you're looking at these TVs, these 4K OLEDs, maybe it's a previous version or an upcoming version of this TV brand, or it's maybe a different manufacturer. I think, save up, see what size TV you want, see what you want from a TV watching experience. If you're not maybe too bothered about having the best quality out there, you can definitely save on different TVs and cheaper TVs, cheaper models. You don't have to go for an OLED. But I would highly recommend these OLED TVs. I just think for the colour alone, it is mesmerising. Like I said, noticeably, straight away on the discs, I was noticing the colour, phenomenal. And yeah, my expectations, like I said, some areas, like I said, the sound, but then I think my expectations were higher than they should have been for the sound. But again, a soundbar solves that issue. It's not a major issue there, so I think, if I would highly recommend these TVs. If you're on the fence about them, I would not be. I think it's superb quality. They're relatively easy to set up as well. The interface inside, the interface is great. I think I like the remote. It's got voice. You can do like the voice controls and stuff like that. So it's got all the mod cons. It's got all the bells and whistles on the great TVs. I think for the money, I think if you're getting longevity out of it, which I plan to certainly get, I don't want to be getting this TV and use it for like 2 years. I want to get like a good, 5 to 10 years at least out of this TV if I can. But yeah, overall, I'm very happy with the TV, and if you're on the fence, I would certainly recommend buying one of these. If you enjoyed this episode today, please do give it a like and subscribe if you're watching along on YouTube, and if you're listening along on a podcast app of your choosing, please do give it a subscribe on the app and leave a comment on there or leave a review as well, as it always helps the Movie Cheer video brand to, grow overall. But let me know all your thoughts on this topic today. What do you think? 4K OLED TVs, are they worthwhile for you? Are you on the fence about buying one? Maybe this video's changed your mind. Maybe you've got 4K OLED, or and you're kind of like 6 months down the line like myself, or 12 months. Let me know your thoughts on it. What were your impressions of first buying it, and how do you feel now further down the line? Or maybe these TVs are not for you. Maybe you've got something else instead. Let me know all of your thoughts on this topic today. Thank you very much for watching this, for listening along to this episode today, ladies and gents. Remember to spread a bit of movie cheer, and as always, I will see you next time.